great. And then, yeah. Okay, let's focus about Brentford's defense line. I mean, as a Kim Ji-soo center back, as we spoke before, that Collins. Do you think Brentford will eventually sign the Collins from Wolverhampton?
It's hard to tell.
Mm-mm.
If I'm being honest,
Mm.
there's a bit of a standoff at the moment, from what I understand. Wolves paid £20 million for Collins from Burnley last summer.
Yeah.
Wolves want to make a profit, as I'm sure we would all if we were in that situation.
Yeah. Any club.
Yeah, exactly. Brentford don't want to spend too much money on Collins. And I think their idea of a fee is around 20 million, around 22 million pounds. But Wolves really want 25 million pounds. I don't think Brentford want to spend 25 million pounds on Collins. I don't think they think that's the right value. Brentford's transfer record is 22 million pounds. They signed Kevin Schade from Freiburg permanently earlier this month. They had him on loan since January. So that's their transfer record, 22 million pounds. I don't think they want to break that transfer record to sign Nathan Collins. So it's hard to tell at the moment. Either Brentford need to change their position and come up with the extra couple of £1 million, or Wolves need to back down and accept a slightly lower price. So it feels like it's a situation that could go either way. I know Brentford have other options. I don't know who those other options are, but they're looking around. Collins is one of a few targets. It looked like he was their top target, but it feels like they might shift and look at someone else.
So you're saying if they fail to buy Collins, then they will go to another centre-back target who can play right away from next season. Yeah? All right.
Yeah.
So then it means they will definitely have one more new centre-back who is over 20 years old or experienced centre-back. Then can you explain, can you predict the next season's centre-back starting lineup, centre-back? Who do you think will start?
I think the season will start with Ethan Pinnock and Ben Mee. They were a brilliant centre-back partnership throughout last season. And even if they sign Collins for 25 million pounds, I think Pinnock and Ben Mee have done more than enough to kind of hold on to those positions for now. But like I said earlier, the problem is Pinnock's just turned 30. Ben Mee turns 34 in September. So they're not going to be long-term solutions. Well, Pinnock has just signed a new contract with the club. But, you need to look forward. You need to be prepared that things change, players drop off. It's also important for everybody listening to understand that Brentford change formation quite a lot. So they often play with the back four. So they'll have two centre-backs, but they regularly play with the back three. So they'll have three centre-backs as well. And this is why they're after someone like Collins. So they've just got enough options, enough quality options there to make sure that whatever formation Thomas Frank prefers, they can kind of fit someone in who's got that experience to perform that role.
Yeah, of course. And then in reality, considering all this, in reality, how do you think about Kim Ji-soo's chances to play in the first team next season? Do you think he will get the chances in the cup competition or something else?
I think he will get given a chance in a cup competition. As we mentioned earlier, he really impressed the club at the Under-20 World Cup. I think if he continues to show that in training and he performs well with the B team and he settles in quickly, there's nothing to prevent him from, being on the outskirts of the first team squad. And what happens is that Brentford often come up against, third tier, fourth tier sides in the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup. And I think that's a really good opportunity for players like Kim Ji-soo to get in early, to understand what English football is like. Thomas Frank, when he can, does always give opportunities to young players in those competitions. So if I had to make a prediction, I'd say at the moment, and again, I've not seen much of Kim Ji-soo, so it's hard for me to tell. it's hard for me to see him making his Premier League debut next season. I'm going off not that much information. But can I see him making his debut for the club in a cup competition? Definitely. And if he impresses in that, then who's to say he can't go on and get more minutes?
Sure. I mean, yeah, nobody knows. I mean, when they have Ben Mee and Pinnock, and then also they have some other options, and they are also trying to buy Collins or other center backs. So there will be high competition. But obviously, as you said, Brentford sometimes even using 3 backs, so they will need more center backs. So there will be chances. So fingers crossed for Korean fans.
Definitely.
And then about Brentford, now we have 2 more questions. I mean, what is your? I mean, I sent you a photo about from the whoscore.com, yeah, the 4-4 based on 4-3-3. Do you think? I mean, we will put this image here in the video. Okay. When we are looking at this lineup, do you think this will be the next season's Brentford's lineup, or do you think there will be some changes in this?
There'll be one big change, or maybe 2 big changes. Firstly, Ivan Toney suspended until January for breaching the Football Association's rules on betting. And then we don't know what's going to happen with David Raya. He's made it very clear he wants to leave the club this summer. Brentford want £40 million for him, but nobody's paying that money at the moment. That could change. So I think I'm still going to assume Raya will leave at some point. So I think Mark Flecken will start in goal, who they just signed from Freiburg. Then it will be Hickey, Pinnock, me, and Rico Henry in the back 4. I think I'll go for... Let's go Josh Da Silva, Matthias Jensen, and Christian Norgard in the central midfield 3. That's a nice balance of attacking, dribbling, playmaking. And then up front, I think it will be Brian Mbeumo, Johan Visser, and Kevin Schade. So I think that will be the starting lineup for next season. So Brentford, everything needs to kind of fall perfectly for Brentford. Luck needs to go in their way. And that's before you even think about they're missing Toney for 6 months. Then they're probably going to lose David Raya, who's been another really important player for them. They've lost Pontus Jansson. Pontus Jansson didn't play a lot of games last year, but he's been their captain for 4 years. So he's been a leader. So losing those 3 players, I think will take a little bit of an adjustment. Having said that, Brentford's squad is so young, 22, 23, apart from the defence. They've got so many players who we've not seen the best out of them yet, and they're already performing at a good level. So I think it's quite exciting to see, can they go to another level? They just finished 9th. Nobody thought they'd finish 9th. So if they're in the top half of the table by the time Ivan Toney comes back in January, then they've probably got a good chance of finishing in the top half again and maybe qualifying for Europe. I'd love to see it happen. I'll probably say it won't happen next season, but my fingers will be crossed. I'll be praying, hoping that it does happen
in the long term.
Exactly.
Who knew that Leicester will win the Premier League? I mean, nobody knows.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then maybe hopefully Kim Jisu will be part of their success.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's the best scenario. So you said you go to watch B team games, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so let's keep in touch and share good news when you see Kim Jisu is playing for B team or anywhere, I mean, in the world, anywhere.
Yeah. Can I ask you a couple of questions, actually?
Sure,
Is that okay?
sure.